Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 562nd Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. This is a close, exciting battle, and as you can see, it was fought on one of my favourite maps, a Germanic forest map, where you've got the big open plains if you want to fight out in the open, or you've got the woods if you want to plan any nasty ambushes there. Okay, our first teammate is Brotherhood member Clash, who's bought the Roman Eastern Empire faction. Okay, and if you notice here, he's got several Plumbarteri units. And remember, these Plumbarteri units throw effective against armor metal tipped darts, and each unit can throw 810 of those effective against armor metal tipped darts. So he's got a lot of firepower there. Plus he's got Eagle units, the comitatenses. So he's got Eagle unit there for lots of morale. He's got several of those units. Remember those Eagle units, 122 man units, but they can throw 3 pilers each. It's the Plumbarteri units that throw so many missiles. And then he's got his Roman Eastern Empire Equitae Clibanarii cavalry. Remember those with their effective against armor maces? Remember, this cavalry is so tough that if they're fighting infantry, you can leave them in there fighting infantry and they'll still do very good. Okay, so those Equitae Clibanarii, very tough cavalry, so that's a pretty good army of clashes there. Okay, our next teammate is Brotherhood member Man 2, who's also bought the Roman Eastern Empire army there, and he'll also have a collection of Plumbarteri and comitatenses. So you already can see he's got his Plumbarteri, and he's also got the Legio Lanciarii. Okay, these are anti-cavalry units here, and they can actually throw missiles as well. They throw spears at the enemy, but as I say, as you can see, they carry spears themselves, so they're anti-cavalry units there, and good for putting it on the front of your battle formation. He's also got the Eastern archers there. Now these guys have got medium range, but as you can see, they're armoured, so they're more difficult to kill. I say that they're medium range, and of course he's got the religious unit here. Remember, in Barbarian Invasion, morale is so important that bringing a religious unit is very important, because it gives your troops an extra morale boost that keeps them fighting longer and helps to stop mass routs. Okay, he's also got the Equitae Clibanarii cavalry there, as I say, with those effective against armor maces and really tough cavalry. So that's a pretty good army there. It'll be interesting to see how well that does. And our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Roman Western Empire Rebels. Okay, I've got lots of different units as well. Now the archers for this particular faction are not very good. They're not armoured, and they're only medium range. So the archers in this particular faction is not very good. If you notice here, I've got Auxiliarii Palatina. Okay, these are anti-cavalry troops here. As you can see, they're carrying spears, but also they can be a shield wall. You can also form them into a shield wall as well. So they're ideal for putting on the front of your battle formation there to stop and neutralise any cavalry attack. So as I say, I've got a collection of Plumbarteri and comitatenses as well. And my cavalry are the Sarmatian Auxiliary Cavalry. They're not too bad if you put good upgrades on them. So there's our team. It should be a great battle for you to watch. And here is the other team. We have Brotherhood member Barclayman, who has bought the Lombardi Barbarian faction. If you notice here, he's got the Lombard archers. Now these guys, as you can see, have got no armour, but they've got long range. So they can do a lot of damage to enemy archers before the enemy archers even get into range with these guys. But as I say, once the enemy archers do get into range of them, then of course, because they're wearing no armour, they are susceptible to a lot of damage. He's also got the chosen archers there, chosen axemen. And if you notice there, they've got those effective against armour axes, and they do what it says on the tin. They chop up heavily armoured troops like Roman troops. Let's have a look at the upgrades he's put on them. 1, 2, 3, 4... So he's fully upgraded his effective against armor chosen axemen. Okay, make no mistake, these guys are serious infantry, and he's got 1 cavalry unit, and that's a barbarian warlord. So he's got all that infantry, effective against armor infantry, and those long range archers, and he's got his cavalry general there. So that's an interesting army, but with no heavy cavalry. It'll be interesting to see how well it does during the course of the battle. Their next teammate is Brotherhood member Demon, who's bought the Roman Eastern Empire Rebels. Okay, and if you just draw your attention here to the peasants that he's got integrated into his pilot shield units at the front of his battle formation there. The peasants soak up enemy missiles as good as any other unit. Now, Demon brings a lot of plumbarterai. I think he's only got 1 comitatensis unit in amongst his army. So with all those plumbarterai units there, he has got a heck of a lot of firepower. I mean, he could devastate enemy armies before they even get into hand-to-hand fighting with the amount of plumbarterai units he's got. As I say, remember those plumbarterai units throw 810 effective against armor metal-tipped darts. Plus, he's got the religious unit there, that Orthodox priest, to give his army extra morale, keep them fighting longer. And of course, his cavalry are the, I believe, the Equitae Clibanarii cavalry there. So it'll be interesting to see how well they do. And their last teammate is Brotherhood member Aurelius, who has bought the Burgundi faction. Okay, another barbarian faction there. And you see, you've got 8 upgrades on his general, 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. And you can see these are golden band infantry. And you can see why they're called golden band infantry, because you can see that golden band around their waist. And most of his army, as you can see, are hiding in the woods. So there's the enemy team. It's got the potential to be a great battle. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this stage of the battle, I just thought I'd show you my battle formation there. Can you see how at the forward units of my battle formation, I've got those spear units, those auxiliary palatina, and they're in a shield wall there. So not only are they anti-cavalry spear units, but they're in a shield wall as well. And make no mistake, that's quite an impenetrable barrier there for both cavalry and infantry. Okay, so I put them at the forward units of my battle formation there to stop any direct attack. But of course, as you can see, the best form of attack for an enemy is to go around the flanks of my battle formation, where I would then turn units to face the threat there. But as I say, I just thought that's an interesting battle formation for you to look at there. Stops head-on attack by the enemy. Okay, so at this very, very early stage of the battle here, you can see Man 2 has moved his army forward here, moved his archers forward here. Remember, these archers of his, these eastern archers, have only got medium range, but they are well armoured. So they're difficult to kill, but they've got to get reasonably close to the enemy, as I say, because they are only medium range. And as I say there, I think, if I remember right, Barclay Man had 6 of those long-range Lombardi archers there. And if you notice here, can you see that Barclay Man is keeping those archers in close, tight formation? That's because he'll get more impact and do more damage to enemy archers there. But of course, because they're in close, tight formation there, they are more susceptible to more archer damage there from the enemy archers. If you notice here, Man 2 has put his archers in open order. Of course, if you put any unit in open order, they're less susceptible to archer damage there. That's why your pilot shield units, you put those units in open order, because as I say, they are less susceptible to missile damage here. But you can see Man 2's archers are suffering a lot of casualties here, but of course that's because they're outnumbered by so many of those long range Lombardi archers of Barclay Man's here. Let's say in this game you've got a choice when you've got archers. You can either go for the long range archers that are not that well armoured, or you can go for the medium range archers that are armoured, like you see. So you've got a bit of diversity there. It depends on what type of archers you want to bring. But as I say, with Barclay Man here keeping his archers in that close, tight formation, yes, he'll get more impact, yes, he'll do more damage, but of course, in a tight, close formation like that, he's probably going to lose more of his archers there from enemy fire. You can see that Demon has moved his infantry forward there. What he'd like to do is attract enemy archer fire to his peasants. Okay, that's where he really would like to do. That's why he puts the peasants into his, obviously, pilot shield unit there to attract enemy missiles. Because I think he thinks, why waste good units against enemy missiles when you can just use the peasants there. So that's why he's got that peasant unit there. But as I say, you can see here Aurelius is bringing his chosen archers forward as well. Let's just pause the game for a second here. So you can see Aurelius here bringing his Lombard archers in. I think he's got a mixture of Lombard and chosen archers, which he'll bring into the fray as well. So as you can see, the enemy are going to greatly outnumber us with archer units. And wouldn't surprise me if they took out most of Man 2's archer unit, as Man 2, I think, archers there are right at the forward, the front of his battle formation there, so they're going to be a big target there for these enemy archers. Okay, so you can see Aurelius, so now you've got Aurelius's and Barclay Man's archers here are going to concentrate on Man 2's archers. Okay, as you can see, Man 2's archers have already been battle depleted here. I think he's got one archer left in this unit here. There you go. That one archer there. I don't know how long he's going to last, but there you go. He's been taken out. So that's a whole archer unit of Man 2's has been taken out. Now, if you see here, can you see I'm bringing my 2 archers forward here? Remember, these archers of in my faction are pretty rubbish, really. They've got no armor. They're only medium range. But I'll bring them forward here to see if I can do much damage to those enemy archers there. But as I say, they're not really good, really. But as I say, look at all the enemy archers here that both Aurelius and Barclayman have got to concentrate on our weak archers, if you like. As I say, this battle's got the potential to be a really great battle, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, still at this very quite early stage of the battle here, you can see that Clash over on the right flank there. Can you see he looks like he's thinking about doing a right flanking action here onto Demon. He's moved a long way away from myself and Man 2. Now what I'm thinking here, I wonder if the other team are looking possibly that Clash is isolated and they could hit him with like a lightning hit. I just wonder if the other team are thinking that at the moment, maybe hit Clash here, as he's moved into what maybe looks like a bit of an isolated position. Or maybe here, because I'm closer to them, maybe it's my army that they might decide to hit on the flank here as Clashes move away, maybe in a 3v 2 over here on this side possibly. So it'll be interesting to see which way the enemy decides to go here. As I say, to me, Clash looks a little bit isolated there, and they may well look to attack there. You can see Man 2 possibly spotted the danger here of Clash being a bit isolated and decided to move his army a little bit closer to Clash. And as you can see here, I'm now going to move my army over towards Man 2 as well here. So let's say, remember, in battle, the last thing you want to do is get isolated, because a good enemy team will spot that and they will hit you hard. And if you are the isolated army, if your allies can't get over to you quick enough, then you will obviously be taken out there. You can see Barclayman here, it looks like he's going to try and get his archers around the flank of my army here. Can you see him moving his archers there? So he'd like to shoot into the flank. Remember, the flank and the rear of any unit on Barbarian Invasion or Rome Total War are the weakest points. So as I say, you can see he looks like he's going to take his archers over there to target the flank of my infantry. So what I'm going to do is realign my army here and kind of face those archers head on, because obviously Roman troops will suffer hardly any damage from archers shooting at them head on. So as I say, you can see here that I'm, if you like, realigning my army here. And I'm now facing those archers that Barclayman was hoping to get around the flank to shoot into the this flank of my infantry there. Okay, you can see Clash and Man 2 have moved together a bit closer now, so Clash is no longer kind of isolated, so they can now both concentrate on maybe Demon's army here. Okay, so Clash and Man 2 may well do a double attack here on Demon's Roman army, possibly. You can see the way that they've positioned their armies there, that could be a possibility. If you notice here, I'm moving my Roman army over towards my allies are a bit closer, because looking at the disposition of the enemy team here, it looks like they could well be aiming for my army. Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. Okay, so you can see both Barclayman and Aurelius. There's Aurelius infantry and there's Barclayman's infantry here, and it looks to me like they're ominously moving over to this left flank here, maybe to target my army. If you look at the way they position their troops, and maybe Demon's Roman army here is going to try and hold up Man 2 and Clash in a holding action, allowing his two allies to attack my army and maybe take my army out in a 2v1 lightning hit. That could be the thoughts here behind what the enemy are doing. Okay, so as I say, you can see the enemy infantry there massing. I can see the enemy Roman cavalry moving over onto this flank as well, and it looks to me like there could be a big massive attack here coming in on my army. If you notice here, I'm going to pull my army back a little bit here. And as I say, don't forget, my troops have got a lot of firepower. I'll be throwing pilers and those metal tipped darts into those enemy troops there. It wouldn't surprise me here if Barclayman threw a couple of units into pin and hold my battle formation, where he takes the majority of his units around the flank of my battle formation there. Okay, I think that'll possibly be the tactic here, and then Aurelius will bring his barbarian troops around the flank of my army as well. Okay, this could well be the tactic that they're going to use. Well, Demon maybe tries to hold both Man-2 and Clash, allowing his two allies to attack me here. So here you can see the enemy troops here. As I say, a couple of units there to pin and hold my battle formation there, let you see where they get units around the flank. Here you can see both Aurelius and Barclayman here bringing their effective against armor axes. And of course, I believe Aurelius has got his berserkers there. You can see Aurelius's cavalry charged into my units there, and bang! As they smash in to my my units there. That's some kind of impact there from that cavalry. And look here over to the left of my battle formation. You can see here I'm throwing a lot of missiles. I've got my Plumbartroy throwing those effective against armor metal tipped darts into the enemy. Plus I've got my Comitatenses throwing their pilers into the enemy. But look, you've got those effective against armor chosen axemen from both Aurelius and Barclayman coming into my flank. Demon's got his Equite Clibanarii cavalry ready to smash into me as well. So there's a good chance here that my army could mass rout here with this 2-on-1 hit. And as I say here, you can see Man-2 and Clash here facing Demon's Roman army. Obviously here that's the tactic of the enemy team. Hold with Demon there while their two allies attack me. Here you can see that Man-2 has got a camel unit here. And then these guys will bring a bit of fear factor to enemy cavalry. Okay, you don't very often see this unit brought to the battlefield here, but it'd be interesting to see how well they do. As I say here, you can see I've got two armies closing in on me here. You've got archer fire coming in on me as well, and obviously their tactic here is do a 2v1 here, take my army out, mass rout my army, and then go on to attack my allies here. Look at the impact there. There goes those effective against armor axemen going in there, and bang! There's two berserker units just pulling. There's Aurelius's berserker units are now activated. So I've got those effective against armor axemen coming in on me, and those berserker units. Remember those berserker units, 32-man units there. They bring a big fear factor, taking morale away from my troops, destabilizing my troops, making them more susceptible to routing. Here you can see Clash has got his cavalry in behind my army here, looking to charge in to the enemy. And you can see that Man-2's already charged his cavalry in here. I'm going to charge my cavalry in as well here against the enemy Equite Clibanarii, and bang! And my cavalry smashes in there. So both Man-2 and my cavalry there are both fighting the enemy cavalry there. I can see some enemy reinforcements coming over. Can you see that berserker unit has come over here to help them? But I've got, as I say, Man-2 and my cavalry are both involved here fighting Demon's cavalry. But look at that berserker unit coming over there. Remember that berserker unit there's got a big fear factor, taking morale away from our troops. They're destabilising our troops, making them more susceptible to routing. Now if the enemy win here, look, they'll get in behind my troops and smash into the rear of my engaged troops, and I think that would be game over. As I say, you can see the berserkers here. Barclayman's got a berserker unit going as well as they charge into the flank of my Roman infantry there. Clash has got his cavalry that he's charging into Demon's infantry. As I say, that was obviously the enemy team's plan there, was to Demon to hold Clash and Man-2's infantry there while they do a 2v1 attack onto my army. Look at the mass of enemy infantry charging into me here. And as I say, if we lose the cavalry battle here towards the rear of my battle formation, the enemy cavalry will then get in behind, smash into the rear of my army, and that will probably lead to a mass rout, and probably the enemy team will go on to win the battle. Here you can see Aurelius's Burgundi Lancers with their massive 10 charge bonus coming in here into the fray as well, trying to smash into my cavalry there. You can see them charging in there, and bang as they smash in there. That's massive there with their massive 10 charge bonus, as I say. Okay, so bad news for us. Both Man-2 and my cavalry have both been routed here. Can you see that? The enemy cavalry has prevailed, and both Man-2 and my cavalry has now been routed and probably been chased from the battlefield. And all this enemy cavalry here, this victorious enemy cavalry, can now get in behind my engaged infantry, smash into the rear, probably take my general out, and mass rout my army, and then they can go on to then attacking my allies. So as I say here, things not looking very good here for my army and for our team. But as I say, you can see those effective against armor axemen. There's those berserkers with their double-handed swords there, smashing into my infantry. As I say, I can still see we're throwing pilers and those metal tip darts into the enemy here, but look how they're charging into the flank of my battle formation. Over here, as I say, look at Clash. Now remember we talked about these Equitoi Clibanarii cavalry being so tough they can fight infantry, and look here, can you see that Clash has just got his cavalry fighting the enemy infantry here? Okay, his own infantry aren't engaged, but he's using his cavalry to try and smash through that enemy infantry. And as I say, those Equitoi Clibanarii cavalry are so tough, they will take out enemy troops. There you can see that Demon's got his priest unit there, taunting, giving morale to his troops. But it wouldn't surprise me if those Equitoi Clibanarii cavalry of Clash's rout those enemy infantry. But here, as I say, you can see my army, my infantry are taking a heck of a pounding here from those berserkers, bringing that big fear factor. You can see those berserkers with those double-handed swords smashing my infantry up into the air. Remember, these berserkers are really tough on Barbarian Invasion, really hard troops to beat. I can see Clash has done a nice cavalry charge there and routed some of the enemy troops there. So that was a nice cavalry charge there by Clash, smashing in. Look, he's routed a lot of, I think it's Aurelius's infantry there, and you can see a lot of Aurelius' infantry has been chased away from Clash there. But look, as I say, the enemy cavalry now are in behind us. You've got Demons, Equitoi Clibanarii ready to charge into my infantry. Right, so as I say, can you see here that the Equitoi Clibanarii cavalry of Clash has now routed all those Roman troops they were fighting? That's how tough these Equitoi Clibanarii cavalry are with their effective against armour maces. They've routed all that enemy infantry there. As I say, it just goes to show how tough they are. If you notice, Clash's infantry aren't engaged. He hasn't even engaged with his infantry. It's just his cavalry that have routed all those infantry there. So, as I say, it just goes to show how tough those cavalry units are. And now Clash can bring his infantry in behind the enemy units here. And it looks like possibly the enemy plan here has unravelled because, as I say, Clash has managed to rout the Roman army that was going to hold him and Mantu's army here. But look at the advantage the enemy have got with cavalry. And remember, cavalry is really tough in this game, and when they smash into enemy troops they can cause mass routs. But as I say here, you can see Aurelius' cavalry charging in there, and bang, as they smash in there, routed one of my units on impact. You've got Demons, Equitoi Clibanarii cavalry charging in there as well. As I say, I think my general may well have just been taken out then. As I say here, you can see a heck of a lot of enemy cavalry charging there. You can see Aurelius pulling his cavalry back. His Burgundi Lancers with their massive 10 charge bonus. He's going to pull them back, lock and load them, and then charge them back in. But say you can see Clash starting to bring some infantry over here now to help. As I say, Mantu's had infantry in with my infantry here right from the beginning of the battle, but I think he suffered a lot of casualties as well, as I don't think he's got a lot of units left. But as I say here, Clash is bringing his victorious army over, bearing in mind that I don't think his infantry he hardly used, probably just threw missiles into the enemy infantry. He mostly, as you could see, used most of his cavalry there. It was his cavalry that were using most there against enemy infantry. You can see these berserkers here still killing our troops, and those effective against armour axemen. Remember, Barclay Man had fully upgraded effective against armour axemen, and it wouldn't surprise me if he got some really good kills here. He's using his cavalry general unit extremely well here. He's moving it around the battlefield. Here you can see Clash is now bringing his infantry over into the fray. So well done to Clash there. Those would be pretty well intact infantry units, I'm thinking, because as I say, he didn't seem to use them that much. Actually in fighting, probably threw a lot of missiles into those enemy Roman troops before they routed. Right, you can see here Demons, Equitoi Clibanarii cavalry coming in there, and bang, as they smash in there, routed one of my units on impact. Remember, that cavalry is so tough there with their effective against armour maces there. I can see several of my units starting to rout now there amongst that cavalry charging in. You can see, but as I say, Clash's infantry that he's brought in there is victorious infantry. I think he's got some cavalry units in there as well, are doing an absolutely great job there, and it looks like we've managed to rout a lot of the enemy troops here. Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. So you can see out of my entire army I've got 3 units left. Okay, so you can see the auxiliary Palatine, that's an 82-man unit. That is a 122-man unit reduced to that number, and that's another 122-man unit reduced to that number. So that's looks like all the infantry that I've got left, because of course I was double teamed. There's I think we've, as I say, routed most of the enemy troops there. Okay, I can see demons, Equitai, Clibanarii cavalry coming in here. He's only got a couple of units left, but he's going to charge them in there, and bang, as he smashes those cavalry units in there. As I say, this was a great display, I think, on how tough these Equitai, Clibanarii cavalry really are. Really tough cavalry there. And I think everybody in the game actually have used their cavalry extremely well there. But we've managed to chase those 2 units off, and it just seems that our team has managed to go on to win the battle there. As I say, you can see it was quite an intense battle here. You can see I've got a spear unit left. As I say, I've got 16 men left in that 122 man unit. So as I say, not a lot of my infantry left there. That 2 double attack on my infantry really did test the morale of my infantry there, and I'm surprised that they held really. It's good support from my allies. Oh, I've got another unit there. That's an 82 man unit, and that's another 122 man unit there. But you can see that extremely battle depleted there, and you can see that here you can see where the cavalry battle was. Remember that a very important cavalry battle at the back of the infantry there. But here you can see where the most intense fight is. Look at all those dead Equitai, Clibanarii cavalry there. And you can see really, really intense part of the battlefield there. And over here as well, you can see this is where I think Demons infantry were beaten by Clash's Equitai, Clibanarii cavalry. So as I say, it was a good display on how tough the cavalry is, and as you can see, I think most of the enemy units has now been routed. But I thought that was a pretty good plan of the enemy team there, to double team my army there, try and take my army out with their 2 barbarian armies, while Demon's army held Clash and Man 2. I think that was basically the plan there, but luckily my army managed to hold. Right, let's just pause the game for a second here. So as I see, Man 2's, most of the infantry that you can see left are Clashes. I think Man 2's only got a few very battle depleted units left here, as he was fighting with my infantry right from the beginning of the battle. As I say, you can see they're extremely battle depleted, so he did well there. As I say, I think Clash beating Demon's army there and bringing all those reinforcements over saved the day there, to be honest with you. Okay, so first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. As I say, it was a close victory. Very rare to have a close victory on Barbarian Invasion. A lot of you that play Barbarian Invasion, you will know that. Highest kills in the game, it goes to Brotherhood member Barclayman here in the losing team. But he got the highest kills at 1,748, and the highest kills by a long way as well. So well done to him with his Lombardi faction there. So as I say, very unusual to get such high kills in the losing team there. So well done to Barclayman. Well done to Demon there. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but he tried to hold up 2 armies there, I think, there, allowing his allies to attack my army. And well done to Aurelius. Probably didn't get the kills that he wanted to there, but I could see the battle plan there. Well done, guys. That Roman army didn't get the kills that I wanted to there, but I was pretty smashed, wasn't I, by all those enemy attacks. So I'm quite surprised I got that many kills, to be honest. So they didn't do too bad. Well done to Man 2. Good support there during the course of the battle, and well done to Clash for winning the battle against Demon there and bringing all those reinforcements over. So I hope you enjoyed this short battle, a short Barbarian Invasion battle. Look forward to seeing you soon, and bye for now.